Hey guys, thank you for clicking on this video. I hope you find this interesting as I did. I think it's really cool listening to what kids think in my school about politics, morals, any issue, honestly. And if you guys want to be part of this, let me know. I'd love to have you guys on. You can contact me through my Instagram. You can DM me there. If you have my Snapchat, just send me a snap. I think my email is in the YouTube description, and of course, you can just leave a comment saying that you're interested, and we'll go from there. I'd love to hear more sides of the story. And if you guys like it, leave it a like, of course. And if you guys dislike it, give it a dislike. If you guys any comments, concerns, maybe my hair looks good, let me know in the comments. I need your feedback. With that said, guys, I really do hope you guys enjoy. Yeah, have a good one. I'm excited to have Murph and Jack here today. We got the conservative and the liberal. Alright, so I got a few questions here, and we're just gonna get going.
Can I ask Jack something just before we start?
Yeah, go ahead.
How far left are you? Like, who's your ideal candidate for president? Like, are you like Andrew Yang, moderate,
I
or
like
are you
him.
like
Dude,
a
I don't
like a
think-
Bernie guy?
Probably somewhere in the middle.
It's like a Joe Biden.
Nah, he's like.
He's right, or he's too far left.
No, he's like almost a Republican,
Like-
basically.
You think he's almost Republican? Okay.
He's become a little
He's
more
like,
left over the years.
he hates like weed and shit, you know.
Yeah.
So-
yeah.
But he I don't really even care about he just is like the worst option for me.
I know.
Like I was like he's the least exciting person for the.
So I think you're more of a Pete Buttigieg guy.
I mean
I think Bernie
I
would be probably my.
Yeah.
You're
idea.
that far left, okay.
I don't think that's.
Yeah,
not,
me
that's
neither.
not that far compared to like Europe and stuff.
Exactly. That's
like
what
Democrats are big.
It's
like
far left. It's far left for a capitalistic country. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I don't think that's a bad thing per se.
I mean, I don't. My biggest thing is I don't like communism and socialism. That's my biggest
Fair enough.
That's why I'm a Republican. That's why I'm a conservative. It's actually I personally don't like the two-party system, but I call myself a Republican because why the hell not? It's what I
Best alignment.
Right, it's best alignment. So
There's
call
only two
myself
to
a
choose from.
Republican. I'm registered to vote as a Republican. Obviously,
Can you vote?
I cannot vote this upcoming, but I know
Yeah.
people who are voting both sides. My dad's gonna vote one way. Some of my buddies are gonna vote another way. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see, but it's I consider myself a Republican because I am big towards economy. I feel like economy is the reason why this country's great, and I am big against communism. I believe that I don't think the government should take any of my money. I'm a libertarian in that way, so I'm big against taxes, stuff like that.
Big against taxes.
Well, of course you need taxes to
Right.
function in a capitalistic state, but at the same time, you don't need to have 46% of your federal income being taxed.
Right. Well, before we get into the nitty gritty of actual each person's views, I kind of wanted to start talking about start from the beginning, like your guys' background,
Beginning of time.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say, beginning for where does it start for you? Because your personality also I would say is a lot what your value. I mean, your personality is what your
Yeah.
political views. It's it's the difference between there's morals that go in with politics. You know what I mean? That's why people get so upset.
If you want to go first, you can. I'll go first if you want.
But so my question is some influences, family or something where you grew up or something.
Well, my parents are both Democrats, right? My dad he's more like Biden-ish. He's more aligned with just the DNC kind of stuff.
Okay.
Instead of I think there's the DNC and then there's more progressivism. I would say more, yeah. So, I mean, I definitely, my parents have had a giant influence over what I think, but I'd like to think that I'm more free thinking
Right.
than just
You don't want to be just copying.
Yeah, I mean, my dad will say, I don't want to mention him by name, but I kind of have to, but he'll say stuff and he'll expect me to just full on agree with him, and I'll like think it's kind of like some of the. It'll be like, oh, Trump drank a glass of water with 2 hands. Isn't he stupid? I'm like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
There's like so much more important stuff to focus on other than like a guy
you could say
water.
You could say the same thing about Biden when he confused his wife and his sister.
Dude, oh my god, that was so fucking stupid. Oh my god.
So they're both 2 70-plus old men.
They're the worst possible options.
That honestly. Probably both have 10 years left in them. So.
That's like such a weird, like morbid thought.
I would bet.
I mean, Jimmy Carter's still alive. He was president like the 80s and 90s.
That's crazy.
76
How old is he?
80.
He was 70s.
Yeah. Damn, he's like must be fucking like 100.
He was a Democrat.
Yeah, I mean, I literally know nothing about him though.
So yeah, I'm sorry to change subject. Are you done with your?
Yeah.
Basically. Well, so I mean, basically, you're influenced by your parents and like what you think.
Yeah, like.
I mean, that's not a bad thing. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just wondering.
Just like over generations, my family just aligned more left. I mean, there's like outliers within the family. There's like
right,
but
no.
Generally, everyone's.
What about you, Murph?
So my parents got divorced in 6th grade. So I was in a 2-parent household that entire time, and my mom never talked politics. My dad, big Barack Obama supporter, so he pushed me. So until like 6th grade, I was a Democrat. Really? I was because I never really formed my own opinions. I was more aligned with, say, my father, who's today he's like the definition of a Joe Biden supporter.
Really?
He calls himself a moderate. He's not a moderate. Sorry, Dad. Love you, but you're not a moderate. But eventually, I learned to form my own opinions, and I realized that my mom, she is a Republican.
Yeah.
My stepdad, Republican.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like one side of the family. You have Democrats, which is my father's side. My grandparents on that side, they're all Republican. I mean, they're all Democrats. And then, of course, outliers, like you said. I have a few uncles that are definitely Republican. And then on my mom's side, you have Republicans. And then, of course, you have a few outliers. I mean, my biological sister, she's, oops, I said her name. Sorry. She's a.
I can bleep it out if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, that's what I did on my last one.
Yeah, so my beep.
No, literally, the last one I was talking about, and I was like, blah, 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 and then I just kept talking.
Yeah,
I just cut it out.
You could just, so you didn't even hear that name there.
Right.
But, like.
You won't hear
you're talking about the, yeah, I know what you were talking about
what?
then. The COVID?
No, I hit her up the other night, and like, I was like talking about it with Alex. And I was like, oh, and then it was like, it was weird. Okay, let me talk about that. Because it was weird because I was like trying to like.
Is this off camera or on camera?
I don't know. It's in the conversation. It's
bleep out any like
importance. Right, no.
Voices.
Right.
Names.
So,
yeah.
That's what I did with the last one. No, but,
I need to watch.
So the other night, like, it was like 4 days ago, I was like, fuck, like, I want to hit her up, but I don't want to, I don't know, I was like scared, and I was like, fuck it. Like, now or never. So I just like I was like Snapchatted her. But I was just being nice and just like asking her questions and just like being a nice Jonah, and like I wasn't really flirting. I wasn't like making my intentions clear, and then it was just like kind of ended, and it was like, eh. Yeah. And then the other night I was at my sister's apartment in Boston, and I got drunk for the first time with my sister and her college friend, and they both influenced me to text her, and it was a good thing. It was a good thing.
How did it go?
Oh, I just said like, because it was the courage that I needed. It was the push over the edge, and I just said like, "Hey, I think you're really cool and cute. Like, you want to hang out?" And she was like, "Maybe." And I haven't really hung out with my friends. I've been so busy the past 2 weeks. Maybe. Yeah. And it was like not a yes or no, but the thing is, I proved to myself that I can do that.
Yeah.
Like, anybody can do that.
Right.
You can do that. Superman. You can fucking do that.
Yeah.
And
there you go.
it's like holy shit. Like, holy fuck, there's no...
Yeah, no limitations.
No, like, there's, like, literally, like if she says no, that's still a good thing, because I proved to myself that I can say...
I've gotten my share of denials in life. I mean, people think I don't talk to females generally. Like, I'm not a player, I mean...
Yeah. Well, it's like...
It's life.
It's like, what, we're fucking high schoolers. We're high school boys. We kind of...
Senior year in high school, I mean, it's
fucking... What I'm saying is, like, we kind of value our self-esteem and self-worth through how many girls we slept with. Like, personally, that's what I'm like, and I'd rather not, but it's just like, it's one of those things, and I have, my number is 0, but I still think I'm a still pretty good guy, and like,
you're chill.
Yeah, but like, like
Jonah's my dog.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm trying to like, I'm my own advocate. Like, girls aren't gonna come up to me. I gotta go up to them.
Yeah.
And like also like, there's no wrong in being like, hey, like, do you want to go out? And she says no. It's like, okay, then I can move on. Life. And then like, then I realized nothing would have ever happened. I don't need like
another bleep.
Alex has been obsessing over since like.
It was well, we've been hanging out like groups.
Yeah. And
yeah, I mean so I'm actually good friends with her. I can put in a good word.
Dude, that's what
I mean, I was like...
He literally said, I'm friends with her, I can put in a good word. That's exactly what he said.
Trying to, like,
get with her?
Yeah, and then over the past few days, I've realized that's not probably going to happen. I haven't even shot my shot yet.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, it was just, like, I don't know, last night I was thinking about it. It's like, so Alex has been obsessed with for, like...
She worked at the beach club all summer. Why didn't he just go talk to her?
Okay, he has a lot of issues. He really does. Like he is a normal person. It's not like he's crazy, but he just has a lot of his own hang-ups. And it's the fact that, like I said, I got drunk with my sister, and it was actually a good thing because it was like, it gave me the courage to just like
that push sister?
No, my sister in Boston.
Oh, okay.
I have
you have
oldest, she's 22 or 22 in like
22. Okay.
In a month, exactly a month. Anyways, no
way.
Yeah. Do you know her?
Yeah.
She hot?
Beep. And then
why are you saying this around me?
I'm messing with you.
But it was her and her friend.
I'm messing with you.
And it was her and her friend in their like $4,000 apartment in like 20 stories up in Boston.
Jesus Christ.
And it was sick. It was fucking lit. It was so fun, and it was just like, it was like really nice to just talk to like college students that were like not like I fucking hate talking to high school students sometimes, dude. It's like, I posted this thing on my story, like, who wants to come do this thing? Only 2 people responded. It was you and Kyle Sala. And 148 people probably saw it.
Yeah, because people are pussies.
Well, some people probably just didn't want to do it. But I'm sure there's like probably a handful or plus of people that actually would have like wanted to do this and were just too scared. And it's like, that's my, like, I am just trying to do the things that I want to do and not get scared out of them. And that's why I'm doing this podcast and sitting down with you guys right now, is because I have been like, oh no, maybe people don't want to watch it or something. It's like, I fucking want to do this and I want to talk to you guys. And it doesn't even just have to be about politics, you know what I mean? It's like, this is where it's just like, life talk, you know what I mean? With other kids. And I think that's interesting, and I think other people would want to watch that, and that's why I'm doing it.
We all have our own experiences, and that's why it's great to have a space where you can come in and talk about those experiences. Yeah. And sometimes those experiences go hand in hand, because say I'm friends the girl that you might try to be trying to, and then it's weird. It's funny. So politics.
Yeah. Well, that was my whole my whole spiel about that. Anyways, whatever happens with that, it looks like she's not really into me, which is fine, because then I can move on. Because
you learn.
But like you have, like I'm telling you, like Alex, just like hit up. He is so cute, and he's a good-looking kid, and that's. Dude,
has he done it yet or no?
No, and he's like still dating this chick that he's been dating.
Alex is.
She's this like bimbo from Narragansett. She's a year younger than us. And she's like,
and he's
dude, and he doesn't talk to her, like they don't hang out or at all, like.
Yeah, he's got to get out of that if he wants.
Exactly, that's what I've been telling him, and like he doesn't have a job. He's never had a job this summer, and he wants to. It's like, these are things.
I see him every once in a while at the beach club.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Like,
do you go to Plum?
Yeah, he works there.
I work there.
Do you still work?
It just ended Saturday. Was my last day. He worked there all summer. He has a
we've
golf
known
cart.
that. We've fucking known that. Like, the thing is, then if she just says no,
it's a no guess thing. If I saw Jonah and Jay Belly on a golf cart with Alex on, I wouldn't have given a crap. I would have let you walk down.
Yeah, well, that's not. Well, Alex has a pass. That's not the issue. Like the thing is,
there was a no guest policy.
Oh, okay. Well,
I wouldn't have cared.
Oh, really? No, like Alex and I would always go to the beach. Like, not always, but we did actually go to the beach.
This year?
Yeah. To Plum.
I never saw you.
No, well, like once. Like we didn't actually like. But like I went like more than a handful of times. I went after work because I.
Yeah.
The beach, like I've worked at.
I get out of there at 5 o'clock usually.
Yeah, it was like nice to just go down.
I've been working 2 jobs for like the past month.
Yeah, I worked 2 jobs for
the
whole summer. And in the last 2 weeks, I quit.
That's also a reason why I'm a big Republican, is because I don't like people taking my money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like people taking my money either.
Exactly.
But the thing is, I don't want...
for Joe Biden?
Well, okay, Joe Biden... So this is where, like, I don't like Joe Biden, but he's better than the other option. And really, there's, like, 7 people on the ballot? You know what I mean? But you really are choosing between 1 or 2. Like, if you throw away your vote.
It's almost by policy if you look at Democrat, Republican. This is the problem with the two-party system. It's that it's A or B. There's no in between. I mean, the most in between person right now is Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm writing down the time stamps so I can know when to edit this.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't get distracted when I do this.
So there's no in between. I say the most moderate person in politics right now is Andrew Yang. Right.
Dude, I freaking love him. I love him, dude.
Big fan.
I love him,
bro. Like
I follow him on Instagram.
The whole DNC thing when he was running, they would censor him.
Yep, it's because they don't.
Dude, that's what. And they were like,
no. I remember it was like, sorry to.
Yeah.
It was like, it said oh, Biden, blah, blah, blah percent, Bernie, blah, blah, blah percent, Warren, blah, blah, blah percent, and then I had 3 other guys, and then Yang was 5%, and it said other, and it said 5%. They purposely didn't say Andrew Yang.
Dude, I
mean, they do it in a weird
Yeah.
That's what doesn't make sense to me about.
Well, it's because it's not fitting their progressive agenda.
But they're the ones who call the shots.
I think
right?
the news networks aren't even they don't want Bernie. They want Biden and this
Well, it's because Biden's running for president right now, so of course.
Yeah, but before they wanted the more moderate
Well, it's because then if you have say Bernie Sanders running against Donald Trump, it's almost like the moderates are going to go to Trump because they're not going to go to a progressive socialist. I understand. He may not be a Fidel Castro, but he's still the closest to a Fidel Castro that we've ever had. So
I'm not disagreeing.
The problem with the two-party system is, and I'm going to look at this tax-wise. Federal income tax right now is in the 20%.
Watch out for the mic.
Federal income tax is around 20%. Or it's probably higher than that, 27. Joe Biden wants to be low 40s, high 30s. Right? That's my biggest thing. If after a global pandemic, after the stock market just crashed and people are looking for jobs, why would you ever think to raise federal income tax? Because it's just taking money away from people. People say, raise the minimum wage. Well, that's just going to raise inflation.
Oh, that's actually one of my points right here. I have some points if we don't have anything to talk about. I have but minimum wage is one of those.
That's just going to raise inflation. If you raise the minimum wage, right? Say Connecticut's raising it $1 every year until until they get to $15 an hour, which is crazy money. I've made $10.50 all summer, so $15 an hour is
that's
God
what you're gonna
money.
be making.
So
20.
That's
an hour.
Well, I
basically.
tips.
Well, yeah, I make 10 an hour.
One night I went in and I averaged it out because I went in and I did 4 deliveries at once, which is unheard of. I made $30 an hour averaged out, but but that was over a 3-hour stint.
Sheesh.
It was just $90.
Oh no, I made $28 an hour one night, the whole night.
Yeah.
But that was. I'm not gonna talk about that because it's private. But going back to income tax, if you just raise the minimum wage, what's gonna happen is things around that. So say you go to a CVS pharmacy, you might be asked to pay $4 for a Gatorade instead of Rhode Island, where the minimum wage is $10, and maybe you'll be asked, maybe you'll pay $3, and then Texas, where the minimum wage is $7.50 or $6.50, which I think that's a little bit too low.
Yeah.
You'll be asked to pay $2 for something.
Right.
So,
well, at A-Land, our prices used to be Adventureland, the place where I used to be employed. Anyways, for the viewers.
Right. Yeah.
It was $9 for a ride, and then they boosted it up to $12 a ride, and it's people are started to say hey, that's kind of expensive. It's if you realize there's all the minimum wage employees, and their pay is getting increased by 60 cents a year. You know what I mean?
And that's going to hurt middle class Americans because middle class Americans, they're not going to get those pay raises, right? When you start raising the minimum wage,
it's only affecting the bottom.
It's only affecting the bottom. So what's going to happen is corporations are going to say either, okay, we're going to keep your salaries the same, or they're just going to move it to a place with a lower minimum wage, because you say. So those middle class people, right? They're gonna have to start paying more for stuff, and it's gonna be harder for them to live. So obviously, this is terrible to say, but you have to have a 3-class system. You can get out of those classes. If you live in East Providence, you have a chance to get out of, say, East Providence, and I know, say, a kid in North Kingstown like me has a better opportunity, but in the state of Rhode Island, I'm going to talk about the state of Rhode Island real quick, there's something called school choice. You had the opportunity to go to Tollgate High School, you had the opportunity to go to Westerly, you had the opportunity to go to Cherho, right? Kids in East Providence have the opportunity to go to North Kingstown. If you live in Providence, you have the opportunity to go to Classical, which is arguably the best high school in the state.
Were we talking about this?
Yeah, I don't understand, like East Providence is like not a great area. It's not well funded, and the school isn't great. While North Kingstown, it's nice and the school's really good. I feel like if that wasn't like a viable option for everyone, there's no reason why everyone wouldn't go to North Kingstown. It's like, it's just a better option to fund the school, like fix the problem in East Providence rather than getting everyone away from East Providence, letting it go to shit, and then North Kingstown just gets like 1 million people.
Well, you can't take money from towns, right? If you have, say, North Kingstown, they have property taxes, right? And then they have Jamestown, which has property taxes. There's going to be a great statistic for you guys. What town, it's actually a trivia question, what town do you think has the lowest property taxes in the state?
Property tax? Charleston.
Jamestown.
Really?
It's Jamestown.
Really? Watch this. So now you can bang.
That's good.
It's Jamestown because they don't have to pay for schools. They don't have to pay for all this stuff. So
maybe that will help.
You can't take money from North Kingstown and put it into East Providence because that's money that's being funded into a town. North Kingstown already has problems balancing their budget, right? If you go to a school committee meeting or a town council meeting, you'll see that they already have their troubles balancing a budget. You can't take money from North Kingstown and fund it into East Providence. Now you're talking about getting state and federal funding, right? State and federal funding is a whole different issue because now you're taking money that, say, might be going to North Kingstown that North Kingstown's been relying on for years and, say, giving it to East Providence. Yes, East Providence needs better school systems, right? But tell me how you plan on fixing East Providence, and I'll tell you how I plan on fixing it.
Well, you could take the taxes or just increase the taxes maybe on.
But then once you increase taxes, you're hurting those people in East Providence. You're hurting.
No, only for like the Bernie thing. The middle class and the lower class, their taxes stay like basically the same. It's the people with like Jeff Bezos that you can tax at a really high rate, and it just goes back down.
It's like a trickle. Did you remember in the 2016 debates, Hillary kept saying the trickle down effect?
Yeah.
Like that made such an impression on me because I was like, what the fuck is she saying? But it's like the exact thing where if you tax the rich, give to the poor. You know what I mean?
So now you're talking. You can't take money from people that live in North Kingstown and give it to East Providence. That you're gonna have to do in state taxes and federal taxes.
Yeah. Right.
So you're saying you want to take, say, federal taxes.
Well, I'm just saying.
Or Jack, I'm gonna talk to Jack.
Yeah.
You say you want to take taxes.
I don't really have an opinion. I don't know that much about school funding.
Okay.
So I'd have a real opinion on this.
See, my biggest thing is when I try to talk politics, I try to get down to like the nitty gritty. Like,
okay, you just seem like you have your shit together with like education.
This is why
and like loopholes with like state and federal funding.
Do you know why Donald Trump doesn't? I'm being honest with you. I already know Donald Trump doesn't pay a dime in taxes. There is no doubt in my mind that when Donald Trump's tax forms get released, it is going to say that he pays nothing in taxes, and people are going to get mad. But do you know how he does it? Loopholes, and you have to.
But that's like, it's justifiably okay. Well, let's not talk about the morals of it.
And there's because obviously, that's not great.
It's justifiably a shitty thing to do.
But if you say the problem is that if you say donate to charity, you know that like pretty much all the money that you donate to charity, you can get off taxes. Yeah. That's how people do it. They just donate to charity. Say they donate to their own charity.
Then they get their own money. They just literally just throw themselves money.
That's one loophole.
Yeah.
it's justifiably a shitty thing to do.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing to do.
So that's why I get upset.
There are other loopholes that I don't obviously know about that say Donald Trump is using, but yes, he's taking away from the country, which I never like that he doesn't. I'm not like, I hope you guys know this. I'm not like God hail Trump.
Like Brandon.
I'm
Trump.
My ideal Republican is John McCain.
I'm fine with
that. Yeah,
that.
we like John McCain.
Exactly. That's I think I do not like Mitt Romney. I don't like Mitt Romney.
Oh, he's like dude. I hated him, and now like he's our boy. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
I'm more of a John McCain guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about him, but all I know is that like
Rest
him
in
and
peace, John McCain.
Yeah, all I know is Obama and him were friends.
Well, yeah, it's because
and he was like a good guy. Like he was fighting for like the right. Like the thing is,
do you know why him and Obama were good buddies? Because he never had a problem with him when he was running. They ran against each other in 2008.
Yeah.
I remember when we were in democracy class. I said, "Yeah, in 2008, probably would." And you, yeah. I was like, I probably would have rather had like John McCain win. And Jack's in the back. He says out of nowhere, he goes, "You're like 5 years old. How do you know that?" And he's like, and everyone's like laughing at me. I'm just sitting there like, "Bro, Jack, don't roast me."
Yeah.
I was like, why did Jack have to roast me?
Yeah.
But John McCain is like my ideal Republican. I mean, he's big economy. He's also like not an idiot.
Right.
Trump. I'm not saying Trump's an idiot because this is what I said to my dad and my grandfather, who are say Democrats. They called Donald Trump an idiot. This is what I say to him. How is an idiot worth $2.1 billion as of 2020?
I mean, the thing is, you can also say like Kanye West is crazy, but then you say, how's Kanye West? He's like $3 billion or something like that. Like,
no, he's not worth that much.
He's more than Trump.
No, he's not.
Yeah, I mean, well, he said okay. The thing is, the source is him, so
exactly crazy person.
But he does have. I know he's a billionaire.
So Donald Trump before he
but like the thing is like
was worth almost $10 billion. He's lost almost $8 billion of his net worth since he ran for president. You know
no
why?
Way.
What?
No way.
My biggest thing is you call him selfish. You call him all this stuff. How is he selfish when, say, he sacrificed $8 billion of his own personal wealth? No president since...
Sacrificed on what?
He sacrificed his own wealth.
On
he
what?
Sacrificed
he just give it to his kids?
No, he... Well, obviously...
Murph, are you saying like he put it on the line and then lost it, or like he donated $8 billion?
No, he could have sat at home with his $8 billion that he already had and not ran for president. He's doing you might call him a bad person, but his moral things are to do good for the country. No real person would sacrifice $8 billion of their personal wealth just for the clout of being the president.
If $2 billion.
Murph, I don't know what you're.
$8 billion.
Murph, it's not like he.
I'm just showing that he's a morally just person.
Thing is, I would have to disagree with you on that. I would have sacrificing his own money. That's like saying because he lost.
There's been no president since.
I'm trying to find an analogy.
Since actually a long time ago that has not increased their net worth by $500 million since they became president. The Clintons increased their.
Obama
the richest president ever. So
who?
Trump.
Yeah, he's the richest president ever because he already had his money before he became president.
Does that mean Obama is like $500 million?
Yeah, he does like speeches and he gets.
He's made over
That's
$500 million. The Clintons are worth almost $1 billion.
Oh yeah.
But in the 80s, in the 90s, the Clintons weren't worth jack
Well, the
shit.
thing is, Murph, saying that
my biggest thing is too, Bernie Sanders is worth over $10 million. What socialist has $10 million?
It's $3 million.
$3 million. What socialist has $3 million?
Well, that's a very big difference between 10 and 3. I'm just saying. There's a big difference between 10 billion and 2 billion.
What socialist has $3 million?
I don't know.
Well, he's not.
Thing is, his dad probably has $3 million net worth. Like that's like.
But is he a socialist?
No.
Well, it's not just because he likes high taxes doesn't mean he has to not make money for himself.
I understand that.
I don't know, that argument.
The root of socialism. This is why I hate socialism. The root of socialism.
I don't think Bernie's a
communism.
socialist. Socialism is like basic communism.
Right.
He's more like Norway-ish, which isn't
or Sweden.
Socialist. Yeah, like Scandinavia. It's like that's not social. Like from a definition standpoint, that's not social. That's like social democracy, I think. So basically, just like a strong, God bless, just like a strong safety net and high taxes and
See, what I don't understand is when you say
social program, like that stuff.
When you say, okay, there's a lot to unpack. Like, I don't want to get too far off, but saying first off, Trump is moral. Like, oh my God, no. Sacrifice, like, it's not like he donated $8 billion. Then you might have.
He donates all of his salary right now as the president to historically black colleges and universities. Fact.
Does he not get a salary? Or
he donates his entire salary to pro African American.
I respect that
stuff. Yeah. All right. I don't know if it's exactly historically black colleges and universities, but if you want to get towards calling Trump a racist,
that's not.
I know that's not what you're saying, but I'm saying people.
Well, what I want to say is that he's not moral. He doesn't have morals, like integrity that I respect. Okay, so may I say something?
Go ahead.
He has.
It's your podcast.
Okay, but may I say, like, this is a big point that makes me so upset. That is, like, he is such a fucking douchebag. And I want to say that because it makes me so upset and I don't know how to articulate it in a better way. But let me get to it. So he has these people on his, like, cabinet, right?
Yep.
You're aware. They get fucking kicked off left and right.
Left and right.
Left and right. So what I argue is, like, why is that an okay thing for other conservatives and other Republicans? Like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Like, you know, like, that is so clearly a sign, like, you talk about American values and, like, he says, oh, you're not an American, you hate the flag. It's like, American values to me are, like, integrity, loyalty, and, like, faithfulness, you know, things like good,
right?
You know, it's American, but it's like, I'm getting chills right now. It's like true, like, good person values, and we like to be patriotic and say it's American, but, like, so then he throws around this word. It's like, Trump, you are kicking people off of your cabinet left and right. That is not loyalty, faithfulness. There's no integrity in that, and it's just because they did something out of line. Like, that's so frustrating. Yeah, it's so sleazy.
But he's the president of the United States. He can decide whether or not he agrees with what his cabinet is doing. He's technically the cabinet's. He's not required to have a cabinet. You know that, right? That's right. Just there's no thing in the Constitution that doesn't shows the cabinet's. If he really wanted to,
that doesn't excuse him from his, like, just being not, like, a good person. Like, I could, you know, I was dating, right?
I still don't know who is.
Well, I mean, okay.
I have an idea.
Yeah, so she still texts me. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this, with the bleeping out of stuff. But anyways, she still texts me.
I doubt that these people that we've been talking about are going to watch it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I'm still going to. So she still texts me, and I have actually no patience for anything from her.
Just don't respond.
That's I blocked her number the other day, and it's like I'm not someone who block her number, so I unblocked her. But it's like I just have her on Do Not Disturb, and, like, so she keeps, like, reaching out to me. So
how often does she text you?
Like, once every couple weeks. Like,
that's not a lot.
Well, it's a lot when you're not in a relationship with someone and they're asking something from you, you know what I mean? And, like, so my point is that I could easily just say, like, fuck you, you're being annoying, stop fucking talking to me. I could do that, because
you could be
there's no,
if you want to.
Though that doesn't excuse the moral, like, dilemma. So saying that Trump is the president doesn't excuse him from the, like, the moral integrity of, like, I don't want to use big words to lose the meaning. It doesn't excuse him from, like, the moral baggage, is what I'm trying to say. Do you understand that? Like,
I understand that.
He still has that, and just saying, oh, he's the president, it's like, yeah, I'm aware. And he should be the one who's leading this charge on being, like, a morally right person and not against it. And that's, like, a big point that, you know, I don't like to say that there's a reason why I'm sitting right here.
All Trump's looking for in his cabinet is a yes man. That's all he's looking for.
Yeah, I mean, that's what...
Well, they're all yes men until they aren't yes men, and he kicks them out, and he's like, oh,
exactly.
Who's that? Oh, I don't know who
that. Like, they were being disloyal.
That was.
It's like that obviously is something that upsets me, who I really value, like, personal integrity, and, like, I'm a Boy Scout, and that's, like, shaped me into, like, what?
Scouts honor.
Yeah, like, well, like, there's, like, you know, trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, you know, it's like, I could keep going, but, like, there's these 12, like, mandates of, like, being a scout, and, like, we repeat it every single meeting, and, you know, sometimes you can lose because you're just repeating words at that point,
right?
But it's for a reason, and it's
like
because it's for a reason, because then you, like, start ingraining these, like, messages in your brain, and you start to become what it is.
Well, that's what the Republicans' argument is too with, say, kneeling for the flag. It's saying integrity to a country.
Well, and that whole... Okay, and I would love to talk about that. Hang on. I need to put a timestamp here because this is... Kneeling for the flag is like this integrity. Like, what I don't understand... Like, do you find that offensive, kneeling for the flag?
Yes.
See, I think it's so, like...
You think it's better than an alternative?
No. It is, like, actively trying to do the most respectful thing by, like, displaying a point. Like, do you want me to explain that?
I agree with the statement Black Lives Matter. They do matter. I hope that you agree with the statement that all lives matter.
Yeah.
Right? That's how I see it. I don't agree with the organization.
And that's what I was talking to
Black Lives Matter.
I was talking to and he put this, like, thing on his story, his Instagram story of, like, this, like, they're like, this is why cops, do this. And it was, like, some, like, this
the guy,
pulling over, and then the black guy shot the 2 cops.
Yep.
And I'm like, holy fuck, I just watched that. First off, that's fucked up. And second off, like, this whole situation is fucked up.
You think.
Right. And so, like, I was just like, oh my God, that's fucked up. But the thing is, you know how, like, people put, Black Lives Matter on their stories?
Yeah,
it's not okay, but let me.
Yeah.
It's not because I want to tell Jack, like, oh, Black Lives Matter. Like, he already knows that. It's to get that one person out of the 148 people that would see my story. Is to get that one person, like Tanner, to just, like, reinforce the idea that Black Lives Matter. And that's why I texted him. Like, it really bothered me. I was like, I could have just been like, fuck that. But I texted him. I was like, you still believe in BLM, right? And he was like, I believe in all lives matter. And I think it's becoming like an Antifa, crazy organization and stuff like that. Maybe you think the same. I don't really know.
Well, I agree with... I'm just going to say this. Yeah. I agree with the fact that Black lives do matter, right? I agree that Black lives matter.
Right.
But I also agree that all lives matter.
Exactly. Same.
I agree.
I think everyone does.
There's one thing that I don't like: forcing your agenda on someone. I used to post political stuff in my story. Yeah. I did. I'm gonna say it right to the camera. I used to do it just to piss people off. But then I realized that you shouldn't force people's agendas. People should do their own research. That's why I hate it when I see some chick post all this political stuff on their story.
I mean, that's a whole other can of worms.
There's it's like why you shouldn't use the word.
Right. Yeah.
Those okay.
It's like the 6 reasons why, and it's like a bulletin.
Yeah, that's
board, like pink and stuff.
Yeah, I like how people do like the joke one.
Yeah. But no one's gonna fucking read this.
It's like I feel like that's like what people. Oh, you stupid liberal. That's what they think.
I don't think that.
Murph,
I just don't. I wouldn't agree with like most of that. Like, oh, why you shouldn't use this word because it was said by a guy in 1821 and.
So the idea, like, all lives matter is that I think any American, like, whether you're Republican, Democrat, anything.
Good thing.
Universal. It's a universal thing.
Right.
And it's not a political thing. All lives matter. But when it becomes upsetting to me personally, and the reason why you have, like, these riots, is because when you say all lives matter, to me that means, so then when Black lives are not being treated the same way that white lives are, all lives matter. Let me fight for that. Let me fight to make all lives equal. All lives do matter. So when you see, if you truly believe, and this is where, like, it frustrates me that Tanner said this, and, like, I said, thank you for actually saying that. I was telling him, like, I'd like to actually have a discussion, and we weren't ripping each other's heads off. It was like, it seems contradictory to say all lives matter, because if you are aware of that, wouldn't you see that Black lives are so plainly being discriminated still in 2020, and so, like, plainly, like, racism is still alive. People, there's, like, so I could keep going on, but, like, that means I would want to fight to bring that equality there, to really make all lives.
My problem is with this Black Lives Matter stuff is that what do you want to do to fix this? What is that? What do you want to do to fix this? What do you want to do to fix the entire Black Lives Matter thing? Explain to me, and I will show you reasons why that may work and why that may not work. Like I said, when we were talking about East Providence earlier, right, and how, say, you can't take funding from North Kingstown and give it to East Providence. I hope you know that, because what's going to happen is North Kingstown is going to decline and East Providence is going to go up.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's gonna do the exact same thing. It's like a seesaw.
Right.
Right. You need to find that perfect balance. The reason why I agree with the Republican Party's standpoints is because the Republican Party is the party for all parties, for all people. You might think that's not true, but the Democrats are the ones that were against abolishing slavery. The Democrats are the.
You realize
150.
But you're gonna say the party switched, but
the names
why
switched.
But why, as when the South got less racist, they became more Republican? Why is that?
When the South became less racist.
When the South started becoming less racist, yes, because when the party switched, why?
No,
explain.
they switched it wasn't they slowly became more racist.
Abraham Lincoln
was
a Republican.
Yeah.
Yeah. That proves my point.
My favorite president was a Democrat.
Who?
John F. Kennedy. You know why? Hated communism.
Do you really think Bernie wants communism though?
I think he wants to make it so that people who don't try as hard get the exact same opportunity that I have.
I think it's not trying hard. I think people that aren't put in the best situations for themselves compared to some rich kid
I think it's effort.
Can have the same outcome as another
right,
person.
obviously I think that a kid that goes that
if there's a smart kid in a poor area,
right.
he should have the exact same ability to be successful as a rich kid in a rich area. The kids are growing up and it's almost impossible to get out of the poor range.
That's true. And
so
that
you're saying it's hard to get out of, say...
It's not just hard. I am not in the situation...
It's hard to get out of Compton, say. Let's talk about
My
Compton.
mom is a teacher in North Providence.
My stepbrother's going to North... Well, I have a stepbrother that goes to North Providence.
Really? So
what school does she teach at?
The high school. And
my brother's going there next year.
Yeah, I mean...
My stepbrother just transferred from there.
So she's an ESL teacher. You know what that is?
English second language.
Yes. So, funny enough, she was born and raised in Germany, so English was her second language. And there's a reason why she's at North Providence is because
you explained this to me. I remember. Yeah. She likes helping the.
Well, maybe to explain for the.
I'm gonna fill up my water while you do that.
But there's a reason why she's in North Providence, and it's because she wants to actually make an impact where an impact needs to be, because it's nearly impossible when you're surrounded by poverty. I'm not saying North Providence is a poverty, but it's it's way less well off than North Kingstown. Obviously, anyone can just agree with
that. My stepbrothers aren't in poverty. I trust me. I've been in North Providence.
No.
I've been in North Providence. North Providence, as much as your mom likes to help people, there are people who are much lower in North Kingstown. But there are. I hope you know. Ty Law lives in North Providence.
Dude,
okay. There are people. I hope you know that there's not.
I agree, and that the reason that you have to get hung up on that is we are aware. Yes.
On average, your North Providence person
is less. White got his bag.
Respect.
Who's that?
A football player.
Bills are sleepers.
Anyway, so
Josh Allen.
Hang on. Let's not get distracted. Let's not get bogged down. So, what's upsetting is shouldn't those kids who are obviously just as capable as you, I argue even more capable of you, working hard and me too. I'm not just saying you personally. It's anybody. They're just as capable of working hard and busting their ass to grind and get that extra dollar, and they're just in the position. They don't have the connections we have. We are in a system where we have the teachers that are able to sit down with us and really work through the issues. I'm sure Miss Roy would sit down and if I really was struggling in English, I could just go in and let me come up with an example of a teacher that's actually done that. When I've in math, I've gone in with Miss Brayton, and she stayed there, and as stupid as I've been and as much as I've dicked off in class, she actually will sit down and because I was the one being proactive about it and respecting her time. You know what I mean?
Miss Brayton's class, I did not pay attention.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Anyways.
Their class
was worse. Were you in Liam's class?
That was the great.
It was
I
Bryce.
went to like do
Liam.
a test or something, and it was like
And Jack in there.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. I have like videos. I took a video on my Chromebook one time of Jack twisting his feet all the way backwards. You know what I mean? I took it with my Chromebook like this and shit. Anyways, like my point is that we have those opportunities. We have teachers that are willing to put in the work because they don't mind, because there's not that many kids that and they're getting paid and they're like, okay, I'll do that. But when you're in this like system where first off, teachers don't care. Like some teachers aren't doing it because their dream job is to be a teacher, and like then they start doing it for the wrong reasons. Then they realize, oh, I'm getting shit paid. Oh, now I'm like these kids are buffoons. Why do I want to have them after class? And then they have all these hang-ups about like approaching teachers. Well, and then do you agree? Like, do you agree with me to this point?
Sometimes there are teachers. Sorry, I picked up your pen. I was going to go like this. Sometimes there are teachers that are like that. There's teachers like that in every school. I can name multiple teachers in North Kingstown. That won't give you the tip. That won't give you the attention.
Rat them out.
Yeah. You want me to rat them out?
I want to know, like, for my own sake, I want to know. Yeah.
I can keep naming.
Then
got fired.
He did?
Yup.
Oh my god. Dude, like, yeah,
I
agree with you.
He just didn't show up on our final in sophomore year. He just didn't show up to class, and he like didn't even call in. He just didn't show up, so we had to take it like half an hour.
Didn't he work there last year?
Yeah, I don't know how he didn't get fired for that.
Oh my god,
he was already on like 3.
Like Murph. This is so true, and I would agree with yes.
But I know people, right? I have family members. I have friends that have taught in Providence in those places. A lot of times, those kids don't even want to even try to go after school to talk to those people. Yeah. Yes, there are the handful of students, but it's not like North Kingstown where say 95% of the students are trying to graduate. And if you go to East Providence, of course, and you have classical high school too. I hope you know that. Kids test into classical high school.
Yeah, I was born and raised
in Providence.
Lived in Providence. I would have gone to classical.
Right, you would have gone to classical high school. Classical high school is arguably the best public school in the state, right?
I mean, I would honestly argue NK, but that's just my own hunch.
It's got to be classical. It's got to be classical.
I mean, I'll give it to you.
But,
keep going though. You're talking about
the thing is that not every kid wants that, and there are kids in North Kingstown that I've seen that sit there and sleep in class.
Yeah.
There are kids, but it happens at a much higher rate in Providence. It does.
So
why
that's
and I think it's kids that just I think it's a culture.
It's like a systematic.
But it's encouraged. It's not systematic. It's not systematic by race or color. It's systematic by say people who don't want to do certain things.
Well, it's
in Providence, if you go to Providence, right, and you go to Providence High School, not Providence High School, if you say you go to...
Julia, you can...
Hello.
Wow, interrupting.
Wow, we're going to have to restart this entire thing.
All right,
if you go to Tolman, right, in Pawtucket, and you go to North Kingstown, I think a lot of it is not on the teachers. A lot of it's on the students. Look at it. If you have those kids that try, and a lot of times they get their attention. They're able to succeed. I hope you know there are kids that go to Tolman High School that go on and go to college. Just like there are kids that in North Kingstown. But it happens at every school, no matter where you are. But I think that there is a problem with the fact that kids don't want to learn. In Providence, they don't want to learn.
So this is where
I don't think it's on a teacher issue. I don't think it's on a funding issue. I think it's on a cultural issue.
So can I ask you a question?
They don't want. Okay, you're asking a question.
Well, see, I would have to like.
My phone is blowing up right now.
Yeah, I mean, damn, it's so popular.
D-Hop, $54 million deal. No, 50.
Why is everyone paid all
$54 million deal.
Anyways, so. I think the reason, and I would agree with you, that kids you would walk in a class in NK, majority of the kids are probably paying attention and trying. Because, like you said, 95% of the kids are trying to graduate. Like, it's like some crazy high graduation rate. And, like, if you look at colleges with high graduation rates, it's all these really good colleges like Columbia and you know what I'm trying to say?
Harvard.
But my point is
Cornell.
I think the reason why you walk into these like schools where all these kids are like not paying attention is because they have been like reinforced that school. They're like, fuck school. School doesn't matter.
Then you have to change. But
my argument is that this starts in like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. By third, fourth grade, you're like, fuck this. None of my teachers care. And then by like sixth grade, you might not even recognize that a teacher is good enough to.
Their parents aren't also not like their parents aren't helping them by.
That's why it's an issue.
Yeah, so
that's why it's an
issue. Want to take kids away from their parents?
No.
Then what are you going to do? So if a parent.
So what you're going to do is you educate. You start.
If you educate the children, the children aren't going to go home and disobey their parents.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like, it begins with. Okay, there's a lot to unpack. You're saying, first off, there's the school. So then this is like they get their education at the school. Then they get like their, start thinking. Mind thoughts start percolating. But then they go home and their parents don't care. They don't give a shit. I don't know. I've spoken to literally zero people from like wherever these like low income schools are. I don't know what their family life is like.
I know. I've talked to people that go to those schools. Not in Rhode Island, but I've talked to.
Right.
I know a kid that grew up his entire life in Brooklyn that I played PlayStation with, and that he didn't have he graduated high school and everything, but he never went on to college or anything. He's a manager at Domino's right now. Shout out Cozy Juan. But,
Cozy Juan.
Yeah, I met him.
That's a sick ass name. That's a sick ass name.
That's a good like commercial for PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like meet people.
Yeah, holy fuck. The amount of people you'll meet.
What happened to him was he was pulled over and he had weed in his car and he got arrested.
Yeah.
And that was after high school. Like he had his opportunity to go to school K through 12 and pay attention and get good grades. I personally, I think if I went to East Providence, I think it would be much easier to get good grades than.
Yeah, I'm not. But Murph, you realize there's obviously like a reason why kids aren't. It's obviously like it is so obvious that it's not just the kid being a dipshit. It's obvious that their family isn't supporting them. It's obvious that from an early age, school.
So what are you gonna do about it?
I don't fucking know. And that's why I want to talk.
So
that's why I want to talk.
What are you going to do to change families' minds about?
Like, I have some ideas.
What happened was Section 8 housing was created, right? Do you know what Section 8 housing is, right?
I know Kendrick Lamar's album Section 80. So he talks about that.
Section 8 housing is this low-income housing, and then there's welfare, right? People were sucked into welfare and low-income housing. So it was created after the Civil Rights Act, right? And it was supported by Democrats.
Right.
Democrats created it so they could almost suck blacks back into and minorities back into this place of.
This is an interest. I like where you're going.
It almost sucks them into a place of a lower part of society. Now there, and it's keeping them there because once you're stuck on welfare, you're gonna have no motivation to get up and go do those things. And what happened was when you created low-income housing, you created welfare, those people started being accustomed to getting their stuff paid for, right? The problem is that you need to encourage people to pick themselves up, go to work, go do all this stuff. You have to get rid of, and do you know who's a main person in writing the Section 8 housing bill? Your boy, Joe Biden.
Yeah.
These people who are your Democrats are high-key racist. Like, Joe Biden, there's videos of him saying the N-word on Capitol Hill.
That was out of context. Wasn't he quoting a guy?
No. It doesn't matter. No matter what, you can't say the N-word on Capitol Hill. There's videos of him saying, I'm quoting Joe Biden. Poor kids is just as bright as white kids.
Yeah. No, I heard that.
If you ain't black,
he says stupid shit. It's so dumb.
These people that you're voting for are the racists. You cannot call Donald Trump the racist when he has done nothing in office that he's been in 4 years. Office for 4 years. Increased historically black colleges and universities. Their funding by 14%.
Hang on. We're now talking about presidents. You had such a great point that I want to talk about. You were saying that welfare is what. I've never once heard this angle about welfare, and it's really it's really like eye-opening that your argument against welfare is that it sucks these people in and makes these like low income areas.
Mm-hmm. It makes
so
ghettos. Why
so your whole argument is like if
in
there weren't
in the 60s, weren't African Americans, they were going to work. They were. I mean, I'm not trying to. That sounded racist. People.
Yeah.
There weren't like these ghettos like with African Americans. Like if you go to say different parts of like Providence, my grandparents, they bought their house in Providence probably in the 60s. It was a nice area. Now it's like on Mount Hope. Like it's in I don't know if it's Mount Hope or Mount Pleasant. I don't know which one it is. Same thing-ish, but like it's now not a very nice area and it could be considered ghetto, right? Over the years, it's become more of a low-income housing area. They're not low-income, trust me. My grandparents are not very much low-income. My grandfather was the CFO of the Dunkin' Donuts Center for 30 years. But, like, the problem is that they were sucked. That's why my grandparents refused to move out of there. Because my grandfather, he's like, why would I move out of here, like, when it's been my home for my entire life?
Is this your mom's side?
This is my stepdad.
Stepdad's side. Oh, and they're the Democrat?
No, he's a Republican.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't want to move out of there because what happened was it turned into a low income area and he doesn't want to like abandon it because once he moves out of there, he's one of the person that goes to the local businesses and spends. Like once you get sucked into welfare, and the reason why it's mostly African American and minority is because it was created after the Civil Rights Acts when generally African Americans were typically poorer. They were given, that was their escape because they're like, oh, this is a new government thing. Let's go trust them. Like, why wouldn't we trust the government?
Well,
it was the Democratic Party that back then you might have said they weren't racist. They were definitely racist back then. It was just after the Civil Rights Act. There was only one Democrat that voted for the Civil Rights Act.
It's Joe Biden.
It was not Joe Biden. I don't think Joe Biden was in.
No, he was probably like.
Civil Rights Act.
Yeah, he was probably like with popcorn and.
Yeah, popcorn and.
No, you do.
But
Joe Biden some bad bull.
The problem is that, and that's why I'm a big Republican too, is because Democrats have been the party of racism for years and years to come, and people need to understand that welfare and Section 8 housing is the worst thing that ever happened to the African American community. It's because
that's actually really interesting. Like I've never heard of that take.
It sucked them in.
Right. I mean, that's like it makes
and now
the way you explain it makes sense.
How now we need to find a way to get them out. Back then, the areas that African Americans were living in weren't like bad areas. Like they were like there are parts of like say like Little Rock, Arkansas that used to be like people used to live there, and like back in like the 60s like or in the 70s you would have my grandparents who like they had a house in like Warwick, Providence, and then everybody had a house on the coast. Like Providence was where people used to like live all the time, and now you call Providence say like a bad area. Why is Providence a bad area
actually,
now? Because
yeah.
It's because welfare almost. I'm not gonna repeat myself.
Yeah. Well, I gotta ask you, and this is like a main water break.
I'm roasting in the sun right now.
Yeah, I'm getting hot too, and I'm in the shade.
Do you want to
been talking a lot.
Move? Are you actually
He's
roasting
and toasting.
Oh yeah, you're hot. You want me to turn the AC up?
I got it. What do I press?
No, I got it. You don't know how it works, so let me do it.
I don't know if there's like a button.
No, we have a remote. So let me not lose my train of thought. I'm gonna put it to 72. Does that sound good?
What's it at now?
72.
What was it at before?
74.
Sure.
71, just to be nice. All right. So Murph and Jack, my two twinkling stars here. Would you let me see how I want to phrase it. Basically, would you agree that having these like slums, I don't know how else.
Ghetto.
All right, guys, if people are looking at this in 5 years from now, and they're like, "Wow, Jonah, Jack, and Murph are racist and saying bad," stop that. I don't like it. Because we're not, and we're having a respectful discussion. So let me use the words that I want. So let me continue with that train of thought.
I think someone's coming upstairs. Or someone should open up the door downstairs.
Well, my mom's painting the door. Oh. What? Why are you saying shush to me?
I'm not here.
Okay. But anyway, so would you agree that these slums are a bad thing? Like, no one is agreeing. I don't think anyone's agreeing that they're good.
So yeah, so now you're going towards the fact that you have to start getting rid of, say, welfare and Section 8 housing, because now people are relying on the government for everything. That's an issue. You shouldn't be relying on the government.
So you would agree to
that's why my biggest thing is that you have to have a good economy for a functioning country. You have to have a good GDP. You have to have a low unemployment rate. People have different things of what they call a good economy. You have economists who say, yeah, a definition of a good economy is a good GDP and a low unemployment rate. That's what I
see. One of these questions I wrote down is the economy actually good? Because all I hear is Trump saying strongest economy ever.
The economy was great pre-COVID.
No.
Now it's not good because COVID-19 was an absolute mess.
Yeah, but like, I don't know.
Pre-COVID-19, we had one of the best economies since the 40s.
But it's like, I literally don't even know what that means, and it didn't affect my life in any way.
Do you know what a GDP is?
Gross domestic production.
Ours is worth like $22 trillion right now. It's the most in the world.
But like, what does that mean?
We have it's pretty much what our economy's worth.
Okay,
it's what
so
a GDP is.
It's like if you want to buy one America, it costs 22.
It's more than
Is
that.
It still recording? All right, cool.
My definition of a good economy is low unemployment rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a low unemployment rate, then people are going to go to work. They're going to have opportunities to get money, opportunities for healthcare. That's the thing with universal healthcare. This is my thing. If you introduce universal healthcare, right, and free healthcare,
mm-hmm.
it's encouraging people who already are in low income. So now you're just adding them a fact of why do they not want to get up and go to work? It's giving them another reason why not to go up and get to work.
So
this is my thing. I don't want the government taking my money. I work for my money. I work 2 jobs. The thing is, you have to get up, go to work, get a job, and you will get benefits, healthcare, all of this stuff. If you start giving away free healthcare, it's going to take away another incentive for people to go to work, right? So now you have people who are getting paid for by the government sitting
Murph,
at home.
I honestly don't know
that's going to push people
any person.
Stuff.
I honestly don't know a single person who wants to lay in their bed and reap the benefits of
Well, that's because you live in North Kingstown. You said it earlier. You don't know anybody that lives in East Providence.
Right, so let me... And if there's 100%, I know they are, and there's too many to count. There's people out there that sit there and take the $600 a week COVID relief.
Mm-hmm.
That is bad. I agree. That is not a good thing.
I'm not even talking about $600.
So no, I know you aren't.
I'm talking about unemployment.
But I'm just using that as an example.
I'm talking about welfare.
But these are just a minority, and to go off of like what this minority is, that they don't want to work, get off their ass.
You can't take away all those important programs that are keeping people out of poverty just because there's a tiny portion of the people that don't want to work.
No, I'm not saying just take it away out of nowhere.
It's not like everyone on welfare doesn't want to work.
You have to fizzle out of it. Obviously, welfare is good for people who say are disabled, right? Like veterans who serve the country.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for disabled people. But if you are a capable worker, why aren't you working? That's my biggest thing, and it happens a lot more than you guys think, and it pushes. What do you mean that mean? I would pull up statistics, but that's not what this conversation is about.
I think just to focus on the tiny portion of people.
But it's not. It's bigger than you think.
Can you pull that up? I actually want to know. Because that's like, I know they're. How can I get
universal healthcare? Every first world country in the world has some form of that, and we're the only ones that don't have it, and people will get sick.
He's looking up universal healthcare people get sick. We're the only country. I'm keeping that thought in my brain. Hang on, Murph is looking up.
Let's look all first world.
No, you're looking up the amount of people that reap the benefits of what would you even type in to find the statistics?
How many Americans are on
welfare?
Yeah.
Is that even a fair statistic? That's like that doesn't explain like how many people are on welfare and just like sitting at their home. Like that's what I want. How many people are eating?
21.3% of U.S. participates in government assistance programs as of 2015. Census.gov. 21.3% of Americans
click on it.
participate in government assistance programs.
Okay.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
That doesn't mean they're not working.
21% of Americans reap the benefits of the government. People need to go out and
that's
fend
not
for
bad.
themselves.
Okay,
that is bad. 21%.
What I was arguing,
of
what's bad
people
is
are reliant on the
Murph.
government in some form.
Murph, what I was saying, what was bad
is very vague.
What I was saying, what was
it's not like
21%. That means
80 million people aren't solely reliant on the government for.
That doesn't mean 21.
Reliant in some way.
This doesn't mean 21.3% of Americans are sitting at home and eating potato chips.
Yeah, but it's 21% of the government that are somewhat reliant. It's 21% of people that are somewhat reliant on the government.
That's not a bad thing. That doesn't prove anything.
I don't believe that it should be that high. I don't believe it should be that high. I think it should be more like 5%.
Just point it towards the camera. What do you mean it should be like obviously you want that number to go down. But this
approximately 52.2% or 21.3% people in the U.S. participate in major means-tested government assistance programs in each month, which include in Medicaid, supplemental nutrition assistance, formerly known as food stamps. Why is 13 Medicaid? That's like healthcare.
That's for old people.
Yeah.
Medicaid is like affordable healthcare.
There's Medicare and Medicaid.
Not a good thing?
Medicare is for young people. Medicaid is for 65 and above. This is what we used to say. No, that's like, it's like I'm even flipping the two. I remember. I listened to Mr. Lopes in democracy class. I remember this. It's seniors. So.
You have to be to get on Medicaid.
But Murph, like that. So do you believe that there's 21.3%?
Between the ages of 19 and 64 to be on Medicaid.
Okay, so then Medicare is for seniors?
Yes.
Okay, see, so I just flip-flopped the two.
But 13.4% of Americans are on food stamps. That's not okay. 13.4% of Americans are on food stamps.
And so this is where I'm confused.
It's
so both of us would agree.
It's not called food stamps anymore. It's called Supplemental Nutrient Assistance Program, formerly known as the food stamp program. But since people are too scared to call it food stamps, it's not called food stamps anymore.
I mean, the thing is, both of us would agree. Can you shut the computer? Because it's distracting. Yeah. No worries. Both of us would agree, and I think this is not what we're arguing, is that number is too high. That number is bad. 21.3% of Americans are on
reliant of the government in some way.
But this is the fundamental, what you call fundamental break of where our disagreements start, I guess. Fundamental that it's weird with my dad right here, but
weird dad.
Yeah. But the fundamental thing.
Sorry, it's not here.
Okay. You're.
Who's Mr. Adler? I've never met him before.
Yeah, exactly. But the fundamental issue. The issue.
Some hobo.
Is that
homeless hobo just walked in and sat down on a $20,000
he might look like
computer
it.
setup and started.
20,000. Hear that, Poppy?
On a $4 million
computer setup.
Some hobo walked in. Oh, now we're being spied on.
The Russians are here. The Chinese.
Yeah, but
great.
So this is what my point was, and it was very good. It was a very good point, and now I'm distracted. So look at that 21% of Americans, and you're like, holy shit! Look at all these lazy Americans. I hate these people. Maybe
I don't hate Americans.
Well, you see, lazy people, bad, right?
Bad.
I see 21%. I see, oh my god, how can I help? I feel bad.
How can I help? Give them more money. That's going to put them in a lower spot. See? Problem. So you're going to give them more money. What are they going to do with more money?
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just saying, all I'm identifying is that it's a bad thing.
That's the problem.
Well, we both agree. We both identify it as a bad.
$21 trillion in debt as of like 2018. So forget about the COVID relief too. So you have to add
You can
all that.
you can find that number really easily.
It's
23 trillion.
It's too much.
High.
How are you expected to pay for these people's healthcare and these people's college? How are you expected to pay for it when you're 21 or 23, too many $1 trillion in debt? That's the thing.
I mean, Bernie had a plan.
Oh, of course he had a plan. He was going to tax the rich and all of this stuff.
What he was going to do was, for every trade that was made on Wall Street, was tax it by 0.1%. That means for every $100, you would lose a cent. And out of that, he said, out of like 10 years, he would generate like, what was it? Do you know this? It was like $10 trillion in revenue from.
They did a study. Universal healthcare would save
that's not
money.
That's not universal healthcare. That's Bernie's idea to generate money out of thin air. You say, "Oh, how do you make money out of thin air?" That's how you do it. And it's like this. I could be.
But that's
wrong.
That's bad for the big financial moguls because people.
By losing 1 cent.
But the problem is that's going to hurt stock trading because once those people start trading. You got to think one trade. Yeah, maybe it's not going to affect me and you who say when I turn 18, I'm going to start investing a lot. That's not going to hurt me. But those stockbrokers that make a living on commissions, that make living on 2%, 1% commissions, that's taking away from their commissions. That's taking away.
That's like saying
the plan. That's like the idea is that you're helping these people way down, like boost themselves up. While taking away from these people at the very, very top.
Stockbrokers aren't at the tippy top.
Dude, stockbrokers are making like $300,000 a year.
Depending on where you are.
They're making they're being so far and beyond overpaid. There should be another word for it. It doesn't make sense to have the sympathy for them when the sympathy should be given to the people that need it. And the sympathy should be given to the people that don't make $300,000 a year.
But this goes back to the root of my thing. Welfare sucks you in, and you need to get.
And that's like actually an interesting take.
And you once you have, so you're saying you're gonna tax that 1 cent in every $100 that are made. That's like not gonna help the minority people in Providence. That's
then
not
how
gonna
do you help
them.
the minority?
But then so now you're gonna wait 10 years to generate $10 trillion. You need to the main priority of this country right now should be getting out of debt. That's the main thing, and I think
debt's inevitable in a way.
I mean, the thing is,
it's gonna take
that. I don't even. That's a whole
not
can of
do
worms.
Anything for like 50 years just to pay back the debt.
I mean, the United States actually has the money to pay the debt right now, but we don't pay it.
Because there's more important things. The debt, where it's not like. It's like, they're not
the debt exists, but we have money to pay off the debt. That's the thing. The GDP is so high.
Can you check if it's still recording?
Yeah, I'm putting this over here in the sink. You're still running here an hour and 14 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
How hot is my phone right now? Probably like...
Do you want to check the temperature?
Nah.
Not that hot?
No, that thing gets pretty hot sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's not in the sun.
Yeah, true.
No, she's not that hot.
Okay.
So, anyways, like...
You have to look at it like this, Jonah. You can't have people on government assistance you can have people on government assistance. You can't have that many people on government assistance. You can't have 13% of the country on food stamps. That's my biggest argument here, and it's hard to find middle ground. That's the greatest thing about politics. I will say this. As much as I hate communism and socialism and all this stuff, I will fight for the United States American flag as long as democracy is still a thing, because as long as me and you, us three, can have this conversation and sit down, I'm always going to fight for the United States flag. The only way, even if it was Joe Biden as president, Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, I don't care who it is that's president, I will always fight the American flag. The only way I would not fight for the American flag if democracy itself has been uprooted and taken away. And obviously that's not going to happen because it's super difficult. But I just want to say this. We're all Americans. That's the greatest thing about this whole entire conversation that we're able to have.
Right.
That's why I am proud to be an American. And that's why I hate when I see people kneeling for the flag, because you're disrespecting a country that's doing nothing but helping you. And
And that's like
you're a football player making $15 million a year kneeling for the flag.
And there's that view, but there's also the view.
Like, you're making $15 million a year. Why are you kneeling for the flag?
Because he's pointing out issues that happened for people. He's not. He doesn't do it for the sole reason of disrespecting like troops or something.
That's like why. Then that's like why would anyone ever do anything ever like that ever?
Well, that's
like
the thing.
Point
you have
like that.
You have veterans that take it that way. I'm not a veteran.
No. But it makes it so obvious that like people would get upset by that. Like if you look at it like it's I'm making $15 million and I'm still upset in my country because you suck. It's like, yeah, I would get upset if I looked at it like that, but that's the wrong way to look at it, and that's why I don't get upset, because what he's doing is he is finding the most respectful way to point out.
He got this.
Yeah, it's much more respectful than burning down Kenosha and burning down Minneapolis and burning down Chicago. And I understand, but I have to help. I hope you know that burning down cities. I hope we can agree that burning down Kenosha and obviously what happened to Jacob Blake is terrible. Obviously what happened to George Floyd is terrible. I'm not disagreeing.
No one disagrees with that.
Yeah, nobody disagrees with that. I'm letting everybody. There's probably like 5 people that are gonna watch this. You can't burn down a city or country. I mean, you can't.
Yeah, but you can't also. But thing is,
you can't get.
What's more important?
It's hurting their own.
What's more important?
It's hurting their own communities because those people are going out to protest right outside their house.
So I would agree,
and it's hurting their own communities.
I would personally agree that.
How many families do you think were relying on that Target in Minneapolis? How many people do you think were reliant on that Target? Right.
I don't know.
A lot of families were reliant that their mom could go to work and make money for their family
Murph,
at that Target. And now they're out of jobs.
This goes back to like the all
in the
lives.
middle of a pandemic.
This goes back to like the all lives matter stuff. It's like obviously burning down buildings is bad. Obviously looting is bad. No one agrees with that.
There are people out there that do agree with that.
Well, they're wrong. So, yeah. And the thing is, what's worse than that is having a guy getting murdered by police with their foot on his or knee on his neck, and a guy getting shot in the back 7 times. Like, that is worse. That is justifiably worse.
First off, don't run from cops.
Yeah,
I think that doesn't justify being shot.
That does, yeah.
7 times.
Yeah, it doesn't. I hope you know that. But
okay, good.
Obviously, the guy shouldn't have ran from the cops, and obviously, you don't resist arrest. People need to understand that. Now, why is it that? Actually, I'm not gonna say that. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that because people might take it a different way.
Well, how can you articulate it to mean what you want to say? Not helpful.
I'm just not gonna say it.
Okay. Well, it just is very. It seems like
what's happening is a race war is just stewing.
It just seems like what.
War?
It's.
Can I say this? Like what? Like where are your not your priorities personally, because where are the other side's priorities when they get upset when a Target is getting burnt down, when literally people are being killed out of just blatant disrespect. A guy just had his knee on this dude's neck and just didn't think he just fucking killed him. That just happened.
How many people a year do you think are killed by cops?
I don't know. Probably not a lot, and you're gonna bring up this figure. But that's not what's important.
That's the problem with
the exact number.
You need statistics in politics.
If that's that's the thing, and this is where the morals get in, and this is where and it's hard to not get upset. But I'm just showing you this is where I'm coming from. Is that, and I'm not trying to change your mind. This is not what it's about. We're just trying to show each other. So, but obviously, burning down these buildings is bad, but you would have to agree that getting killed is worse. That is just worse. There's nothing. There's no yes, but. Oh, there's no.
There are buts.
There isn't.
Then that's where we're gonna have to disagree.
Right.
Because there are buts. Because there are people that are getting killed at those protests too. Not just Republicans, Democrats, not just whites, blacks. I mean, people are just getting killed, not just by police, but by other people. That's worse than killing, like, a cop killing a guy, like, at a protest. Like, you're also, you have to look at it like this. Those people that worked at those Targets, say you have 100 families that are reliant, that live in that neighborhood. Isn't that really hurting the neighborhood more than losing a guy out of nowhere?
If we want to talk about that, screw Target, screw Walmart. These are big corporations. They don't matter. What actually matters...
You're hurting the employees. You're hurting the employees, Jonah.
They can go... If they got a job at Target, they can just as easily go get a job at another place.
But not during a global pandemic.
Yes, they can. Mitch, my sister's boyfriend, just got a job at Walmart and then was like, nope, and then and now is working at Target. It's that easy.
But Jonah, you're in Minneapolis. It's during a global pandemic.
Minneapolis is a bigger city than North Kingstown. It's easier to find a Target. The argument is that when you start burning down mom and pop stores, that is like the worst thing you could do, because you are only hurting
like that bar, the bar in Minneapolis. That like
you are only like if you.
That bar in Minneapolis.
If you had a store, obviously you're going to say, "Screw that fucking Target. They're a big conglomerate. Go destroy that. Don't destroy me. I am a small person. I'm not worth that much. You know, it's like obviously that's a bad.
That's where Antifa comes in, and that's where all this crap happens, and it's a much bigger argument.
I mean, the thing is, I don't even know what people come up with.
That would take another. Do you not know what Antifa is?
I know what Antifa is, but I don't also understand why. I was talking to and he was saying BLM is an Antifa organization. It's like it's like, oh, like what? Like why is this like what you're focusing on? Like what I am focused on is like Black Lives Matter, and how can you help that rather than how can I get upset at this one organization that I already didn't want to care about in the first place, and now I'm really angry. It's like...
But you have to look like this. They're the peaceful protesters, and then they're the Antifa protesters.
Yeah. Hang on.
See how
you can take it.
You've been going for a while.
All right. Well...
Hello?
This might be the end.
This might be the end. Okay, thank you for watching. We got kicked out because my dad was doing actual work in his office, because we're in his office. It's like, we're not trying to change each other's minds, we're just trying to open each other's minds. If anybody is interested in reaching out and doing this, being part of this, comments below. Also, DM me on Instagram. I'm always looking for new people. And constructive criticism, comments below. If you liked it, leave it a like. If you disliked it, dislike it. Yeah, and anything you guys want to add?
Go Celtics.
Go Celtics.
Go Pats. Pats playing Sunday.
Celtics in 6.